Hi everybody, it's Andrea, aka Violet Kitty 411, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who has been engaging with the channel through comments, likes, and subscribing. You know I do appreciate connecting with an engaged audience as we appreciate this awesome game, the best in the Sims franchise. That, of course, being The Sims 2. So we're back in Riverblossom Hills, and today's client is the Roth family. Obviously, I think we all know that the Roth family is a copy, not identical, but a copy of the Goth family. Having recently moved into Riverblossom Hills has had a wonderful effect on the Roths. Sandra and Xander are doing great in school. Morty found a great job, but Stella seems a bit restless. So let's take a look. Okay, so as we look at it, we know that the family is clearly the same. Xander is a redux of Alexander, Sandra of Cassandra, Stella of Bella, and Morty of Mortimer. Now, of course, Mort and Stella are roughly the same age. The reason Bella is so much younger than Mortimer is because Mortimer actually invented the elixir of life, which he experimented on Bella with. It's a whole thing. You got to read the law. You got to read the law. Okay, you got to read the law. I'm just saying. So after evicting the family, we have 167,000 simoleons to work with, and we see that the house is also a redux of the Goth house, like the family is a redux of the Goth family. But like the family, it is not identical. There are some differences. It's not identical. The major difference that I see at a glance is that they used an auto roof, which kindly filled in even this right here. So that's kind of fun. The majority of the floor plan is actually flipped from the original Goth floor plan, because the original Goth floor plan has the kitchen here and the bathroom here. The staircase goes up the opposite direction. The living room is over here and the dining room is over here. Now, the major difference on the second floor, pretty much the only difference, is Cassandra's room is oriented here like Sandra's room is, and this is where Alexander/Xander's room would be, but they should actually be switched if that was truly flipped. And then on the third floor, there is kind of a cut in on both sides right here, which doesn't exist. So there are some differences. I don't believe they actually just copied it. I think they may have built it from scratch, but I don't know for a fact. It looks like it's oriented a little differently on the lot, giving a little more space over here. But of course, we know that they could have actually changed that as well. I'm not sure. So obviously, the first thing that I want to do is I will actually go ahead and strip the house the way I do, just because I love working with that tabula rasa. You know I do. And then I will be back and we will get down to the redesign. And now that I have the house stripped down the way I want it, it is sitting at 38,948, which is fine. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually change up the roof, because like I said, it did come with an auto roof that was, they didn't even pay any attention to it, legitimately. It's like, what were you thinking? Really? Really? What were you thinking? So we're going to go ahead and give it a good mansard roof, not the mansard roof that would come if you just stuck a mansard roof on. So we are going to give it a true mansard roof by doing it individually, where we use the shed hipped roof at every angle and go and work our way around that way. And then I'm actually going to page up, and I'm going to put a little tiny room up here on the top, right like that, and also put the shed hipped roof around that. And once we have all our roofs placed, we use our roof angle chooser, slide it up to 68 degrees right there and just click on every one of these. And if you don't have mansions and gardens, there is apparently a cheat that you can use, but I can't activate it, I guess because I have mansions and gardens and it's not necessary. Okay, there we go. Now I can't fill this top in unless I grab a dormer and just kind of act like I'm going to put it there. And now I can fill in the top. And I'm also going to put the ceiling on everything until I decide what covering I want on the actual roof. And that's the roof. But I'm not finished with roofing it because I'm also going to give this, and this is actually a smaller porch too, because the porch that comes with it is actually 3 by 5 and this is only 2 by 5. But we're also going to give it a little bit of a roof above here because it's a very blank facade otherwise, and it needs it. And of course I can't do this with those there, so we'll knock those out and then we'll put them back. But we will reduce this one now to, let's go with, I don't know, 20 sounds good? Yeah, that looks good. And although it's not strictly necessary to add columns, it would be nice. And so I'm just going to put these 2 columns. Yes, they don't match perfectly, but guess what? I like them like this. And it gives a little bit of color definition. Makes it more interesting. And so that is the outside. I'm not going to change anything else regarding the exterior except maybe the roof pattern. And of course I will put something on the top up here once I'm finished. And anyone that has been following me for a while knows that I do really love a basement. So of course we will go ahead and add one here. And that's as easy as pie. First, you're going to go ahead, choose your foundation tool, hold your control key, drag it to 1 tile away from the edge of a foundation. Click down to make sure indeed that is done. Yep. And now you will grab this. And because this is a completely flat lot and a staircase is 4 tiles long, but this has already been 1 tile done, so we want 3 tiles done. So we'll go count 5 from a corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold my right key down or left key down and then release it. Grab my hammer, hammer that out. Grab my terrain tool, flatten it there, flatten it there. Easiest basement creation ever in The Sims 2. Yes, I do make it easy. I try. And of course we'll want to put the flooring back in by choosing the one closest to the edge. Hold your shift key, click, and now click it in again. And I will fill these 2 in right there manually. There we go. Voila. Okay, I admit that I had one heck of a hard time finding a floor plan that didn't look like either the original Goth/Roth floor plan or what I had done with the Goth house. So, plus one that was workable and aesthetically pleasing. But I think I finally came up with something, so bear with me. It is going to be, you know, my normal, a little bit on the odd side. So again, bear with me. I'm going to put something there and then something there, there, and there, because I am using the connecting stairs. And when you use the connecting stairs, you have to plan out your flooring first because it doesn't create it. But I have a plan. And yes, with move objects on, they can walk through this little bit of there. So it's coming out just a tiny bit. I'm happy with it. So the floor plan for the basement is going to be very, very simple, very basic. We will have our gardening area, fishing area, and an obligatory bathroom. Now, the ground floor is going to have a couple other things. So I have a bathroom right here, a 3x3 bathroom centrally located to the entire first floor. This will be the dining room because they are not the entertaining sorts. This is the kitchen. Over here is the family room, and this would be kind of a more formal library or conservatory or something. They're not as formal as the Goths, of course, but they are the richest folks in Riverblossom, so let's give it to them. Now the second floor, I managed to squeeze in a fourth bedroom. I'm feeling pretty good about that, actually. So we have a 5x5 bedroom right here with just a little bit extra right there. And this is the ensuite for it. And then Morty and Stella's bedroom is right here with their ensuite. This is probably Sandra's. I'm going to say that's Sandra's. This will be Alexander's, and he shares a Jack and Jill with the guest bedroom. And the attic, as yet still undefined. If I do anything with it, I will let you know. I don't imagine I'm going to have enough money to do much with it like I did with the Goths. So we'll see. Let's put some preliminary textures on and then furnish. Okay, so for the colors, we're working with the blues for the halls and landings on all four, or all three floors, excuse me. And I do love a red for your dining room and the softer pink for the kitchen. This, the more formal living area, is going to have the fancy schmancy, looks like cross-stitched paper. And over here in the less formal is going to be that Leafalicious because we love it. The guest room, oh, we didn't put any carpet in for any of the bedrooms, but the guest room will have the caramel gingham schmingham. I did deck out Alexander's room entirely already, and someone did ask me to show my furnishing process, and I will do that on a smaller build. These larger builds, it's a bit overwhelming. Mort and Stella's room is going to be the gingham schmingham in the green, and for Sandra, it is in the flowers in the pink. I really did stick with the country theme for them. And like I did with the Autumnuses, I will be using from the Value, the Quaint, and the Country collection. And I'm going to call this Mort's plunder room from the things he collects on his adventures. That's what we're going to say they are. Okay, so for that, we're also doing the viney paper. Okay, and so I will furnish it and be back. And now it's time for the reveal. Of course, since I was working with a client with more money than average, I definitely spent some time on the exterior, and that meant really working on creating a good facade. Like the Goth house, it had a completely empty facade, which called for something, specifically a roof over the porch. Also, of course, we did update the roof with the traditional mansard roof that you know I love, creating the widow's walk, as well as this part, which is of course called the eagle's nest. If you didn't know that, it does actually have a name. I did change to the scalloped shingles as it appeared friendlier, and included a paver as the top. On the porch itself, I did also actively choose to use the contrasting posts because I felt that gave it more architectural interest. Speaking of which, there were no windows here, and all the windows on the front did not have the flower boxes. The ones with the flower boxes were on the side and back, which made no sense to me, so I switched them out and also added the two windows flanking the front door, and easels so they can take their inspiration from nature when it comes to their painting. Underneath each bay tree there is a sculpture for interest, but I didn't do a whole lot with the front yard other than that and adding a couple of the flower trellises. Around the side yard, we have a barbecue and bistro set, as well as a little bench to sit underneath the willow tree. I didn't make any actual changes to the greenhouse other than completely filling it in, adding the fairy lights and the scarecrow, as well as the bucket of florals. I chose not to have a roof over the back deck because it's not really a very usable back deck, and it just didn't seem to be calling for one to me. And from the greenhouse, we go down to an exterior entrance into the basement, which would be basically a storm cellar, place to flee in the event of a tornado. Sadly, there are no tornadoes. So the door does cut directly through the foundation and come out through an archway into our little indoor fishing pond, which does freeze over in the winter, but at least when it's cold out and it's not frozen, they can fish without their coat on. We do have a full bath downstairs, so when they're grubby after gardening or fishing, they can get cleaned up. And of course, there is a full garden downstairs as well, so there's plenty of opportunities to garden. They would probably need more toasty lamps, but I just started with 3 for now. From downstairs, we can go directly upstairs into the main house. The top of the stairs puts us at the front entrance way, where we do have ourselves a piano, a very impressive piece of artwork, and there is a coat rack. That's pretty much all that's in the front entranceway. And of course, we can vaguely see the stairs here that go up to the second level. To the right of the front entranceway, we enter the formal dining room. I did choose to go slightly modern in the dining room, but not ultra modern, just very clean, kind of more mid-century modern. Something Stella may have inherited from her parents, I'm guessing. And you do know that I love some reds in a dining room because it does enhance appetite. But back through here, we're going to enter our true country kitchen with the pinks and the greens. It's a great color combination. And why did that get changed like that? I fiddle to get that the way it's supposed to be. Hey, why is that not doing that? There we go. I have a whole wall of herbs drying and the clutter on the counters. And this one did it too. I know I said it right. Come on. Well, I'm going to have to fiddle with that. Okay, and I really did deck out my kitchen. And strangely enough, this one did not get done. And so there is a breakfast bar as well as a little table for, basically they can all eat breakfast in here if they would like simultaneously, but they would not sit at the same table. So there's the breakfast table, and through here we have our more formal living room. Very floral, very pastel. In here they can enjoy a game of chess or a nice book or even some violin. And although it goes against the grain to put the less formal family room further front, I did that simply because this room is smaller, and with it basically being about the TV and electronic entertainment, I didn't want to over focus on that, but since it is a discrete room, it was okay in my world. At the top of the stairs, we are greeted with 4 doors, and they would be to Sandra's room, Stella and Mort, Xander, and then this spare / guest room. And there's a little nook over here with a desk. Like the kitchen, Sandra's room is done in pinks and greens. I didn't actually think it through until I started doing this tour, but yes, I do love that combination, pinks and greens, or reds and greens. It's a good combination. It's not necessarily just for Christmas, I'm just saying. So Sandra has the country bed in the white and a quilt of Veronaville, which I imagine her grandmother made. Stella and Mort's room is done in greens with the purple accent and the more neutral color of the country bed. There is an ensuite, and there's also an ensuite 3/4 bath for Sandra as well. And Xander does get the fun racetrack room. And I've never used radio control cars or helicopters as a design choice before, but it really works with this. And this wallpaper with the fan base I find significantly less obnoxious than the one that he had. Now going through Jack and Jill, we are led to the guest room. Again, just very neutral. Comfortable, but not overly comfortable. We don't want them staying longer than they absolutely must. And at the top of that flight of stairs is just a little area where one can do some ballet, because you know I love ballet. Yes, I have an obsession with the ballet bar. I freely admit it. I do. The attic is basically empty, so you can fill with it whatever you care to. And on the top, we do have the abduction station. Let's put them in and see what they think. Okay, so the final cost was $152,799, and our family has a budget of $167. So definitely I came in basically where I wanted to, because I didn't want to completely bankrupt them. So that's great. Do we want to purchase it? Yes, we do. Okay, nice. Getting along well with your children. That's beautiful. Mort has his empty one, so let's see. Okay, we can talk to Stella. That's good. And kids, you both get to go to school because we love that for you. And are you going to go? No, you need to talk to Stella. Stella's checking out the piano, which is awesome, but why don't you just talk to her? See, oh, good. Okay. And Stella, I want you to walk to work and you take a dip in the pool. Okay. And we'll get back into the everyday outfit. His hair changes significantly when he's in the swimmies. Okay, great. And now, oh, you need to get a skill. There we go. View that whale, and now you are a nature-loving sim. I find it funny that that's nature, not art, but that's cool. Oh, play some games. That's great. But since you're into nature, let's go ahead and take a look down. Oh, somebody is ringing the doorbell. Oh, that was Mr. Humble leaving this. Let's actually go open that. And take the longest way around possible. That's fine. And also, how about take a pee? Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, he is not taking the most direct routes possible. He can walk through the place, but he's like, oh, I think I'll take this most inconvenient route. Why don't you wash your hands, please? There we go. That's good. And isn't that pretty with the fountain? Now what are you going to do? Watch some TV? That's great. Visitors have arrived. Why don't we go check it out? Let's see. We've got Cleo. with a kiss, kiss, darling. Who else? Anyone else? And Alexandra. Hello, Alexandra. And the carpool is going to arrive in about an hour. Have a good day at work as a relic. What is it? Relic Liberator, okay? And Sandra, you're home from work right now. You're a B+ student, that's great. It's adequate anyway. All right. Where are you heading? Which one? To the desk in the hallway. I like that. Perfect. Now let's go find something for you to do for the next 15 minutes. She's actually making use of the bathroom in her own ensuite. I love that. That's yours there. Okay, have a good day. Stella is home from work. And Xander's all pleased with himself. All right. Now, Xander, why don't you put your homework down because I want you to do other things. Why don't you get swung around? And it is the last day of winter right before spring, so there we go. All right. And now we love that for you. You're probably going to puke, right? No? Okay. And yes, they can go right through that double foundation door. That's wonderful. And Stella, where are you? What? Okay. Stella has to pee. Which one did she go to? Okay, she went to the one, the Jack and Jill. Like I said, I never used it as decoration, but it really makes sense in this room. I very rarely let them have the radio controlled cars. Something's happening outside. I feel like there's been no major areas. Let's see. What are you doing? Oh, you're going to walk downstairs, then walk upstairs. Oh, I see. We're doing this muscle in the backyard. That's great. And it's getting to be the thaw. That's great. Are you cooking or are you burning? Why don't you resume cooking? Because I don't want you to burn the pork chops. They look, oh, instantly good. All right. Hey, Xander, why don't you have some of these? As a matter of fact, I'm going to have you sit. I'm going to have Sandra sit. And Stella, where are you going? Going to grab one for yourself? Are you going to go sit with other people? Or are you going to... Why don't you actually be a little more social here? And she's still going to sit there. That's great. No. Sandra, why don't you come sit here? And Stella, why don't you also sit here? Actually, you don't need to eat. Just sit. Just sit. Oh, Xander, why don't you eat something? Okay, there, eat. Oh, he decided he really wanted to sit next to Alexandra. That's nice. Well, you do share a name for all intents and purposes. Well, I think this is going to be a good fit for them. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you soon in the pixelated world, and that's all I have to say. VK out.